Hello everyone, welcome to your virtual classroom to get ready for Whizbang's Workshop, the next Hearthstone expansion. Well, we do have a few cards to talk about, so I will be your instructor for this class. I'm Dragonrider, Queen of Cards, and to help me, I have brought in my assistant, Dragonrider 2D. Well, Dragonrider 2D, can you introduce our students to our topics, please? I'd love to, thank you. Well, our first course is going to be 2 heads are better than 101. Then, after that, we'll move into a little bit more of an advanced class with solving for mana on a draw axis. Lastly, we'll take you back through Hearthstone's history with honoring Hearthstone's nostalgia and lethality. So make sure to pay attention during the classes and take some notes because there will be a homework assignment at the end of the video. Thank you so much, Dragonrider 2D, for our intro, and let's get into talking about our first course, which is 2 heads are better than 101. And that leads us into our first card reveal, Floppy Hydra. Floppy Hydra is a 3-mana 2/4 beast with Death Rattle. Shuffle a copy of this into your deck with permanently doubled attack and health. That's right, you can massively increase the stats of this Floppy Hydra, depending on how many times you can get this Death Rattle to go off and put a copy into your deck. One caveat here is that this does work very similarly to a card that we've seen in the past of Sunscale Raptor. Sunscale Raptor shuffled a Raptor into the deck with permanent added stats, and just as the Sunscale Raptor did not buff every card named Sunscale Raptor, our Floppy Hydra will not buff every single card named Floppy Hydra as well. So there is potential for you to have varying Floppy Hydras of stats in your deck. So if you do run multiple copies and those various copies put other copies into the deck, just be aware that you might not always draw the same statted one or the one that you're hoping for. But what kind of ways will you utilize this? Will it be in a beast-heavy variant? Will you focus on a deck that wants to trigger the Death Rattle as many times as possible? Or will it even be trying to draw through your deck as quickly as possible or as much as you can to replay these Hydras as many times as you can? Now that we've seen that, let's move into our second course, which is solving mana on a draw axis. And that leads us to reveal number 2, our epic card, Playhouse Giant. This is a 20 mana 8/8 mech that will cost 1 less for each card you've drawn this game. Well, there are a few ways to really capitalize on this, and our boy Finley will be leaving standard with the rotation, so you can't rely on Finley, but there are a few other tools that will be available if you want to reduce the cost of this giant. And some of those ways you maybe could capitalize on things like Gaslight Gatekeeper to shuffle your hand into your deck, draw that many cards, and massively reduce that giant's cost with a single card, depending on your hand size, of course. Or even other draw mechanics like cards like Gear Shift that will draw you 3 new cards after shuffling a few into your deck. And even if you don't shuffle cards into your deck when you play the Gear Shift, you'll still get to draw 3, which will reduce the giant's cost by an additional 3 cards just for this single play. Another way you can reduce this is by playing cards that will shuffle cards into your deck that are cast when drawn, such as Plagued Grain, that is going to only be 2 Unholy Runes required with the rotation. Cards like Son of Hodir that will put more giants into your deck that will summon when they're drawn and then draw you an additional card. Or even cards like Boom Boss Thogrun that will shuffle those TNTs into your deck. You will get to draw those, they'll cast, and then you draw a new card to replace that. So all of these could be additional options to get you an extra draw or a couple of extra draws when you draw those cast when drawn cards. And of course, you could even use tradable effects from things like Restaurant Viper, Wind Up Musician, and Lay Down the Law, or any other tradable effect to be able to get at least 1 more additional draw in your turn to be able to help reduce the cost of this giant. Now, beware though, if you're playing something like Plague Death Knight and you are putting plagues into your opponent's deck and they have a Playhouse Giant, drawing those plagues and then drawing an additional card will help reduce your opponent's giant cost. So there could be a case for potentially helping your opponent a little bit more than you might want to. So be aware of that. And now let's get into our third segment, honoring Hearthstone's nostalgia and lethality. And that leads us into card reveal number 3, which is Nostalgic Gnome. This is a 4-mana 4/4 with the new keyword Miniaturize and Rush. After this minion deals exact lethal damage on your turn, draw a card. Miniaturize, the new keyword in Whizbang's Workshop, will give you a 1-mana 1/1 copy of the miniaturized card in your hand when you play this card. So you'll get this Nostalgic Gnome mini, which will also have Rush, and after this minion deals exact lethal damage on your turn, draw a card. Another draw mechanic here that we're seeing that could potentially help you discount those Playhouse Giants. But this effect might also sound familiar to players who have been around for a while who remember the Honorable Kill keyword. That's because this effect is Honorable Kill, but without the keyword. So cards that did see a lot of play, that were very popular and had great effects that were really capitalized on with that Honorable Kill keyword in the past were cards like Dragonbane Shot, Frostbite, and Tooth of Nefarian. This does mean that because it is the same as that Honorable Kill, you cannot use effects like Poisonous to try to give these Nostalgic Gnomes Poisonous and kill off a minion. It won't work that way because it isn't setting the minion to exactly 0 health. But that additional draw could mean a lot for being able to get to your other plays, discount things like giants, or even increase hand size for the other giants that are coming in to the core set in the coming year of the Pegasus. Because you can play them out and then give them some sort of buffs, or even buff them in hand and they have Rush, you might be able to manipulate those stats a little bit more to set up for that exact damage that you need to get that card draw effect. Well, thank you so much to the Hearthstone team for giving me these card reveals. I hope you enjoyed this. And now it's time for Dragonrider 2D to walk you through that homework assignment to help prepare you even further for the coming expansion. Thanks, Dragonrider. For the homework assignment, go ahead and leave a comment with the type of deck you want to try these cards in. And again, thank you so much to the Play Hearthstone team for giving us this card reveal. Thank you so much, everyone, for checking this out. And if you liked this reveal and these types of breakdowns, I do have a whole playlist with all of the revealed cards that you can check out with all of my thoughts on everything that's been revealed so far. Thank you so much for checking this out, and I'll see you in the next one.